2007 Ford Expedition front wheel bearing replacement. Remove the wheel. Use a jack and jack stand to support the vehicle. Right here, 13mm nut you got to take off. Compress the caliper here and here with the C-clamp. Turn the wheel all the way to the right as far as you can. In the back, that top bolt, 18mm, one below it, 18mm. Take those out. Once you get those two bolts off, mine's just sitting here for the video purpose. I'm gonna take a ratchet strap or bungee cord, but tie this caliper up so it's not hanging. You got one 8mm bolt that need to come out here. Follow this line. Disconnect this whole line all the way up to the engine bay. Right here, as you can see if I can point to it. I can't reach it. This connector here, that connector right there, unplug it. That's the ABS. Take a hammer and whack here all around the edge. If you're keeping the rotor, we got to get that rotor off. Using an 18mm socket. 1, 2. There's a bolt there. 3. There should be 1. There's one on the other side. But them bolts sticking out, you will see them right behind it. 1, 2, 18mm. Take out all 4 of those bolts. Normally I would soak mine in penetrating oil, or even use a little small propane torch, but I didn't bring it today. Once you remove these two on this side, the two on this side, you're gonna have to turn the wheel to the left. Note, you will have to turn the wheel left and right quite a few times. Forgot to mention one crucial step. Make sure the CV axle, these little small axles, push in and out. You want to make sure those move in and out. Now you're gonna have to turn the wheel left and right, like I said, multiple times, because you're gonna have to whack here with a hammer, unless you got a slide hammer. But hit here as hard as you could on this outside ring until it pop off. You have to turn the wheel left and right. Bring it. So I broke out my big sludge, hit it 3 times. As you see, it's separated. Make sure you take the axle nut out. I just kept it in there so it don't just fall straight to the ground. But once it separates, you should be able to remove that hub. I always match up the new part and the old part. As you see, this look different from that. That ring is still stuck inside this hub, so we gotta get it out. Get that out. Now you see it look the same. Got that ring on top. Clean out the hub as best as you could. Try not to move too much around, because you see the little splines there. That's where these splines on this sit. It sits in that groove. Now install the new bearing. Make sure you paid attention to the way the sensor was coming out. On mine, my sensor was sitting right at the top. It came right behind here. So the sensor should be pointing straight up and down. Before installing the new hubs, they're going to have these little caps on them. This go in the back and this little one was in the front. Just remove those. You can get your hub set up there. Put your axle nut in. Reinstall the 4 18mm bolts that hold the hub in. Once you get all 4 of those 18mm bolts that hold the hub on, tighten, put your rotor on. Put your caliper back on. My caliper is just sitting there, but you just slide it over the top of the rotor in between the housing. Put your 2 18mm bolts back in. That holds the caliper on. Before you tighten up your caliper, make sure you run that ABS line over the top of everything. You don't want it under. You can reinstall your 8mm bolt right here. Take all these little grommets, push them back into the connectors where they go, following all the way up to the top, and plug in your ABS sensor. Then you come down here with your socket and ratchet. I use the impact. Let me see what size this is. Give me 1 second. See what size this axle nut is. It's a 13 mil. Tighten that down. I use the impact gun to take it off, so I'm gonna just use the impact gun to put it back on. It's real small. I don't know the torque spec, but I'm just gonna snug it up and then just zap it one time so I don't snap it in half. And then you just put it back on and tap it with a mallet or something, and that's it. But that's the 07 Ford Expedition front wheel bearing replacement. All I gotta do is put the wheel on and I'm done. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. See you on the next video.